Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Taylor with Boydston Grove, and today we're going to take our router setup from this,
good God,
to this. Let's get into it. If you've been with the channel for any amount of time, then I'm sure that you've noticed my less than professional router setup.
Totally safe.
I've been wanting to build one of those little router boxes that you clamp to the top of your benchtop for quite some time now, so that's what we're going to tackle today. I'm going to be making my router station out of 3/4 inch plywood. I started by cutting two 12 by 12 inch pieces for the sides and a 12 by 16 piece for the top. My plan is to add a drawer to one side, so I marked out the spot for the router base off to one side of the top. As you can see, I already replaced the stock base plate with a square piece of acrylic. With the router location marked, I marked a second square 1/2 inch smaller in the center of the first. I drilled out the four corners of the smaller square and then cut the center out with the jigsaw. I used a rabbiting bit set to the thickness of the router base plate to cut out a rabbet along the inside square, but as you can see, my bit wasn't large enough to reach all the way to the edge, so I had to finish it off with a chisel and mallet. Maybe not the prettiest, but the router base plate fits like a glove. With the top complete, I drilled pocket holes in the two side pieces and attached them to the top. From here on out, I use the cut-as-you-go method to make sure that all the pieces fit nice and snug. Even though the measurements are all pretty straightforward, I've learned in the past that pre-cutting all your pieces can come back to bite you if anything is just a little bit off, so I figured I'd play it safe. Once the back and bottom panels were installed with pocket holes and glue, I cut some pieces to 2 inches wide and used them as spacers, and then cut out a piece of 1/2 inch plywood to create a pocket for the drawer. But I ended up not liking the 1/2 inch plywood, so off camera I replaced it with a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. To make the drawer, I cut a piece of 1/8 inch plywood for the bottom and some 1/2 inch thick scrap pieces for the sides, front, and back. Then I assembled the drawer with glue and brad nails. The next step was to make some router bit holders to fit in the drawer. I pulled out some scrap pieces of 2x4 and removed the rounded corners from one side on the table saw. Then I ripped down some 2 inch wide strips, cleaned up the third side, and then ripped the pieces down to 1 inch thick. After that, I cut them to length on the miter saw. I marked out some spots on each piece, set the depth stop on my drill press to go about 3/4 inch deep in each piece, and then used a 1/4 inch bit to drill out the spots. I glued and nailed the pieces into the drawer, but quickly realized that I didn't have enough clearance to add the third piece which means all my bits won't fit in the drawer. So after a minute of procrastination, I added a second drawer. This ended up being a good thing because I was also able to add a little shelf with a ledge to hold the wrench and some other things. Okay, in case you were wondering why I put the drawers on the side rather than putting them on the bottom, that's because this is primarily going to be on a bench top, so I wanted to minimize the height as much as possible, and I'm actually really glad that I offset the router because that gave me that extra room for that second drawer that I didn't know that I was going to need. Now, I was planning on being done at this point, but after looking at it, it's looking a little rough. And this is something that I hope to have around the shop for quite a while. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and add some drawer faces and a little door to this to kind of spruce it up a bit. I rummaged up some scraps, cut and sanded them to make the faces for the drawers. I also cut some strips and mitered the corners to make a little door for the router area. Once the door frame was dry, I used the same rabbiting bit to put a rabbet around the inside edge to hold a piece of 1/8 inch plywood. I marked the spots for the hinges and chiseled them out so the hinges would be able to sit nice and flush. I used some carpet tape to position and temporarily attach the drawer faces to the drawers, drilled out some pilot holes, and screwed them in place, after removing the carpet tape, of course. To keep the door from swinging open, I added a little magnet door latch. I removed the drawer faces to add some little knobs, and I also added one of the knobs to the little door. All right, our new router setup is finished for now, at least. I've seen lots of different things you can add to these, like sliding fences, dust collection hoses, and even extensions. But my main objective was to make something small and compact that I can put away when it's not in use and that will keep all my bits in one place, and that may be a little bit safer than this. Let me know in the comments below if you can think of anything that would make good additions to this router setup. Now, I know a lot of these little router setups are designed with little feet so you can clamp them down to your work surface, but since I made this thing out of 3/4 inch plywood, it's not going anywhere. A big thank you to all our Grove members. It's your support that makes it possible for us to continue to make videos like this and projects like this. I hope you all enjoyed today's shop project. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see other projects like this. Thank you all for watching, and as always, be safe and have a great day.